Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Get ready for Talking Heads, the show where expert insights meet world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Brought to you by USA Global TV and Radio. Meet our distinguished presenters. From the great state of Texas, longevity expert, award-winning author, publisher, and distinguished Toastmaster, Red O'Laughlin. From London, England, soul heart awakener, novelist, vocal coach, and artist, Dr. Madeline Chan. Also from England, the Harley Street stress expert, therapist, ambassador for peace, and speaker, Carolyn Heward. And from Australia, ICF PCC credentialed coach, entrepreneur, and leadership coach, Mariska Dupria. Experience their expertise, connect with their wisdom, and transform your perspective. Watch Talking Heads on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. This video and its contents are the property of USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. Visit usaglobaltv.com for more details.
Howdy, y'all. Red O'Laughlin here, Talking Heads on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. I wrote a book a few years ago called Longevity Secrets for Healthy Aging, How to Live to 100 Years of Age with the Body of a Healthy 50-year-old and the Mind of a 25-year-old. And I looked at a couple different causes of aging. Well, things have changed over time. AI has really added the ability to go in and just really find stuff that it was more difficult to find before. And I decided that I want to update that book and, Longevity Secrets updated. And in the process of deciding what I want to have, well, there's at least, some books say 8, some say 9, some say 10, some say 12 different hallmarks of aging. And they probably were there before, but you had to ask the right question to find them. Anyway, so last week I started out and we covered several topics that are considered to be hallmarks of aging. And I had covered aging a little bit before that in regard to, what foods can you eat and things that we can do ourselves, low cost. I'm not into prescription meds. So if there's a natural option, great. If there's only a prescription option, well, it is what it is. So that being said, I don't like to use that phrase. I want to continue on today, finish up Longevity Secrets for Healthy Aging, updated part 2. Let me move into my slides and we'll get started. And okay. Live streaming is not a podcast. We're on Amazon Fire, Zizzle TV, 360 TV, YouTube, a couple different channels there, Android and Apple TV. Social media, I'm simulcasting on my social media in addition to the network. And there's several more that we're on. We do have a podcast, audio only after the fact. And as always, all of my shows are for awareness and education. If you want to take some advice I have and talk to your doctor about it, please, absolutely talk to your doctor first before making any changes. I can be reached on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. My website is red.olaughlin.com. That's red like the color, O'Laughlin, OLAUGHLIN, red.olaughlin.com. And I have a number of books. The one there in the middle, Longevity Secrets for Healthy Aging, is the one that we're talking about today. The YouTube is the main platform for USA Global TV. We became a Silver Creator Award winner here just in the last couple of months for having over 100,000 subscribers. Another YouTube channel we're working on to get 100,000 on that. And you can find the live streams or the archives there. I have archive shows on my website. I'm a researcher and never been in the medical or pharmaceutical fields. I fell in love with chemistry many, many years ago back in high school. I got a bunch of degrees and certifications. Spent 31 years in the Navy, aviator, retired as a captain, been to over 60 countries. I research the human body at the cellular level, chemically speaking. I look for cause and effect relationships, treat causes, fix problems. If you treat symptoms, you won't fix any problems and they may get worse. As of last week, I've been married 57 years, 2 kids, 3 grandkids, and 1 great grandson. Best-selling author, 6 books, working on 2 others right now, independent publisher, almost 50 books for other authors. In fact, I just published a couple this past month. Distinguished Toastmaster, writer, I got over 1,000 LinkedIn articles. And again, educational purposes, awareness. Don't take any action on your own unless you converse with your doctor first. International TV host here on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. Last year, for a couple of my shows, I was number 2 and number 6. So far, for the first 6 months of 2025, I've been awarded the number 1 host on the network. I feel very honored for that. Let's just jump into this thing here. My book there that is the genesis of today's topic. I'm going to be updating that book and coming out with a newer one. Aging, a couple slides, 3 or 4 that I had before real quickly. What causes us to age? What can we do about it? Most of us don't know, and so a lot of this information is awareness. But it all starts at the cellular level. Aging is progressive. It doesn't happen overnight, although sometimes it seems like it does. But it's deterioration incrementally, organs, muscles, tissues. And all of a sudden, the jobs the cells were supposed to do, grow, divide, etc., they don't respond. They become a little dysfunctional. Our mitochondria that provides energy to our bodies just not quite at the same level. And so there's just a lot of things going on, and they contribute to the overall, not only the aging process in the cell, but the aging process in our bodies. A lot of free radical damage. It's always 24/7. DNA damage accumulates over time. Our immune systems can't make the repairs fast enough. Our communication systems within our bodies at the chemical level, the molecular level, weakens. Senescence, basically a terminology meaning old age. At the cellular level, it's a cellular term, increases. And we got a lot of things. Telomere is one of the topics we talked about last week, about at the end of the DNA. The telomere is the cap that holds everything together. When the cell splits in 2, you lose a little bit. That's the attrition. And it should actually end up in what's called cellular apoptosis, suicide. But in some cases, we end up with these things called zombie cells. We'll talk about those here briefly. But cells have a function and they have a lifespan. And in early life, almost everything works perfectly. It's amazing. You get to 30 and it's not too bad. 40, I start noticing things. 50, definitely noticing things. So aging starts to win the battle of overall attrition in our body. Normal cells, not all of them, but some of them become abnormal. And when they aggregate and they don't go away, they don't commit suicide, then we start having a major problem with gray hair, wrinkles, and other issues. Some of these aging processes can be addressed, and we'll talk about that. Aging processes, we talked about these. This is the general list. Stem cell exhaustion. I put in body pH. I'm not going to talk about that today. I think I'm going to pull that up at a later time. Telomere attrition and human growth hormone decline are in my previous book. Talk about them. I talked about them last week. Genomic instability, epigenetic alterations, loss of proteostasis. We talked about last week. Today we're going to talk about deregulated nutrient sensing, mitochondrial dysfunction, cellular senescence, and altered intercellular communication. So those are the things that I want to cover today. Again, that's what I just talked about. So moving right along, deregulated nutrient sensing is going to be my first topic. Okay. We have these things called pathways in our bodies, and they're metabolic communication channels. They signal each other. They respond to certain kinds of physiological issues, and they go back and forth. And it allows our bodies to send signals out. Okay, fine. You need more insulin there. Great. You need more of this. And proteins make this thing happen. And so I just listed a couple of them there, AMPK, mTOR, and it's actually a couple different, mTOR 1 and 2. But there's several things out there that are pathways. And when these things are humming along and everything's working fine, we're great. But sometimes these pathways get interrupted by things. And this degraded nutrient sensing, the cells are unable to detect. There may be something happening out here in your liver or maybe in your kidney. And the pathway to that, or your brain, is disrupted. And so all of a sudden now I start having an issue. I may end up increasing my insulin sensitivity. I may end up having a reduced cellular repair. There was a lot of things, but they all lead down the road to the topic of aging. And this, if I'm not getting the nutrients at the right place, at the right time, in the right quantity, I'm going to have problems because the the body responds to what it needs. And if it's not getting it, then we have a problem. When we get older, we have a tendency to eat less. Our bone and muscle loss is significant, and our overall activity is less. And this is one of those things. You don't see too many spry 80-year-olds skipping down the road. You know, they're pushing a walker or they have a cane. You can tell they just don't have the balance they used to have. And these nutrient deficiencies not only create problems with our tissues and our muscles, but we also have problems in our brains. Has a tendency to promote depression, cognitive loss. A lot of issues here with these cellular hallmarks of aging contribute to neurological issues, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and others. So a lot of things in there. It's just not the body, it's the brain. Uh, the degraded nutrient sensitive DNS accelerates stem cell aging. In other words, we have a lot of replacements standing by to take over, but all of a sudden they start aging and they're no longer standing by because they don't exist. And a lot of cell dysfunction happens. So we end up with cardiovascular issues because of these things, are a lot of DNA problems and mutations. We're seeing cancers and other things develop out of it. So if I have a deficiency in a number of cellular nutrients, I don't get the absorption in the body that I need. The inflammation and oxidation that is typically hitting us 24/7 and literally every molecule is having an effect. So I no longer have that nice highway that goes out to my liver and then it's talking back and forth to my gut, providing the nutrients that I need. And now all of a sudden it's down, instead of a 4-lane highway, I'm down to a 1-lane highway and no passing. So what can I do? Well, diet is critical for nutrients. If I'm not getting the right stuff, I'm not eating the right things in the right quantities, that's an issue. That can help address the nutrient sensing. It's a lifestyle factor. Exercise activates a lot of these pathways. It's just part of the mechanism of our body. We're active. We keep these things open, and maybe it becomes a 1-lane highway for a while. We have things we can do. Let's make it a 2-lane highway or a 3-lane. Chronic stress negatively affects nutrient absorption. So stress is a major one. I meant to put sleep in that one. That's what the S is there for. And for whatever reason, I fell asleep in the process. I don't know. But diet, excessive sugar, unhealthy fats, major problem. If I'm exercising, I reduce inflammation in the body and I activate a pathway called AMPK. And it's a lot of proteins that go back and forth and control a lot of metabolic functions in the body. Stress, hormonal and gut digestion are affected by stress. If I can reduce my stress, I can reduce those levels of issues that create these nutrient sensing issues. And sleep deprivation. A lot of what happens in our bodies for repair happens while we're sleeping. Okay. Now, let me slow down just a second or two, take a deep breath. Mitochondrial dysfunction. The mitochondria is, the more and more I read about our body, the mitochondria, that you take care of that and you take care of your body. It's amazing. That one thing all in by itself is the key to health, to aging, to everything. And so when the mitochondria are working well, boy, everything's hunky-dory. It's just absolutely working the way we want. But as dysfunction sets in, the cells are not necessarily producing the energy we need. Maybe you're now at 80% or 60% of what you used to do. And I've seen in my readings, my research, kind of a mixed bag on results. It's not really worth going into detail. I think there's a whole lot more information there that talks about the mitochondrial affecting the areas of the body, since they literally are ever all over every cell in the body. You have the mitochondria, your brain, your lungs, your kidneys, your gut. Everything is there. So if you have a mitochondrial dysfunction, it's going to affect all areas of the body. Maybe the dysfunction is more apparent in the lungs. Maybe it's more apparent in the brain. We see that particularly, we start looking at dementia after 60 years of age. But probably the area that is most common is in our muscles and nerves, because that's where you got a lot of cells, and each one of those have many mitochondrial in that. So if I'm having problems, might pop up initially as a muscle or a nerve issue. As cell age, energy production declines. So as that mitochondria is producing at 100%, maybe down the road it's 90, 95, but it has a tendency to decline. And part of that decline is the nutrient thing we talked about earlier, but it's also part of the cell. As these cells produce energy, there's a lot of byproducts, a lot of garbage, a lot of waste, a lot of things that should be recycled. But unless you're absolutely activating what's called autophagy, which starts literally at about 1%, about 16, 18 hours of fasting, is a process by which the body cleans its cellular level, cleans out all the garbage and debris, gives you a nice clean working environment, recycles the stuff that needs recycling. But the autophagy starts at about 16, 18 hours, but it's 100% at about 70, 72 hours. And so as our energy declines, part of that's due to the fact that we're not cleaning our cells out. If you've never gone on a 24-hour fast, chances are your cells are packed full of stuff, and the cells got to operate with all this extra, dead fragments and things that aren't working correctly that should be recycled. So oxidative stress increases. We start looking at neurological, metabolic dysfunctions, and in a lot of cases, cancers, because this is one of those, the cancer itself. To me, I'll look at two different things. A lot of the American culture says the cancer is a genetic disorder. Your DNA is having a problem. But before you get to the DNA, you have your mitochondrial. You actually have a mitochondrial DNA. But to me, if you fix the metabolic issue, then the genetic issue generally doesn't become a problem. But you got to go outside the United States to get those kinds of solutions. But in the big scheme of things, mitochondrial dysfunction is one of many things that are going on. I can have nutrient deficiency absorption. I can have telomere attrition. I can have human growth hormone. I can have all sorts of things that are creating problems. And it may not be a single cause, but single lifestyle factors can fix a lot of these things. As we go through and look at each one of them, we're going to see that something as simple as diet, as exercise, as sleep, fix a lot of these problems, or at least mitigate a lot of the problems associated with them. Again, no single cure for that. And that was pointed out many times when I'm doing the research. No single cure for mitochondrial dysfunction. But in the next paragraph, they say, but if you have a healthy diet, it supports mitochondrial health. And we're talking about the diet, your green vegetables, your fruits and things. But we're talking about an anti-inflammatory diet, an antioxidant diet, something that reduces that free radical damage, the oxidation that's going on in the body. So my diet, the foods that I choose become super critical. If I'm eating a lot of ultra processed foods, I'm eating a lot of sugar, carbs, unhealthy fats, then I'm going in the opposite direction. I'm actually increasing the risk of having mitochondrial dysfunction. Now, there's a thing called mitochondrial biogenesis, where you create new mitochondrial in the cells, and exercise is one of those things that increases that ability of the cell to generate new mitochondrial. Toxins, sleep, stress, they all affect to some level the mitochondrial health. So if I'm reading labels and I'm kind of not taking certain toxins in, I'm doing my stress management, I'm getting some good quality sleep, I'm exercising, I'm eating the right kinds of things. All of those things are our lifestyle choices, our factors that really do have an impact on aging. CoQ10 and B vitamins are two things that I've seen that I didn't want to get into the actual issues of supplements, but those two, particularly in this particular issue of mitochondrial dysfunction, seem to be something to know about. Senescence. Senescence is basically a term old age. So if I'm looking at cellular senescence, that's the cell getting older. They stop dividing and they don't die. There's a normal process. You get to the end of the cell life, boom, you die. Suicide. However, not all cells die. And that's part of the problem with the senescence in our bodies. These cells start to accumulate. And as we get older, I have more and more and more and more of these things. And they contribute to aging, they contribute to age related diseases. You may have seen or heard the term zombie cells. These things basically alter the gene expression from the cells. In other words, I normally should be sending a pathway expression of a gene out to part of my body, but it's not getting there. It's ending up as something else. And so the zombie cells create a major problem. They can be controlled. There are things that we can do to handle those. I'll talk about that literally in a few seconds. But cellular stress, DNA mutations, telomere attrition, all help the world of cellular senescence, the cells getting older and not working well, not dying. And what can we do about it? Okay. No, I thought one slide, two slides too far. Okay. Cellular senescence, aging at a cellular level. Our cells send out signals to issue repairs, to keep things going, get the right things at the right place at the right time. If I'm having age issue, it's just like I may have been able to run a half marathon. In fact, I have run several half marathons, but at my age right now, I probably couldn't run 5K, much less a half marathon. So it disrupts, our tissues. It disrupts our repair, our muscle ability, our balance, our strength. A lot of things are disrupted. It disrupts the homeostasis, that level keeping everything the same. There's a term that's associated with senescence called senolytic. And senolytic is basically they found it in foods and then they try to make drugs from it. But there's several things out there. Fisetin's one of them. I can't think of the other one right off the top of my head. But there are a lot of foods that act as senolytic drugs. And so you eat the right kinds of foods. It's like taking a natural drug to cure the problem, which is let's fix the cellular senescence. And some lifestyle changes help too. Some cases where we want senescence, cellular senescence, and it's been shown to be helpful is in wound healing and tumor suppression. But again, am I looking at, I should have other functions going in there. I'm still not sure I really wanted to put that in the slide today, but it was in a couple different sources. So I say, hey, it's worth at least talking about. So there's some cases where, yeah, it's beneficial, but in the big scheme of things, it's an area that creates cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative issues, arthritis, lots and lots of problems. How can I fix it? This antioxidant, anti-inflammatory foods, my green leafy vegetables, my fruits and colored fruits and vegetables, sulfur-laden vegetables, healthy fats, those kinds of things. Exercise is one of those things that prevents the accumulation of zombie cells. Again, a lifestyle factor. Stress management is super helpful. Senolytic compounds in natural foods also help prevent or eliminate these zombie cells from becoming a problem. Another topic, hallmark, altered intercellular communications, ALC. These cells communicate via chemical and physical methods. Now, these are the pathways. They're basically like a telephone call. Okay, you need more of that? I'll send it right out to you. And the proteins, boom, and the amino acids, all those things that need to happen. Well, if all of a sudden the electricity's out, there's a storm, I don't have good communications, how do I know in my body that my brain needs this or my heart needs this or my liver or my kidneys? All of a sudden, I'm not getting the communications that I need that's important to maintain my body in the level that I need it. The cells communicate via these chemical, physical methods, the metabolic and the responses. But when they're not communicating, then I get a lot of problems. And they talk about a cascade of negative effects. So this one here is literally, it's like, okay, pull the battery out of the cell phone. Can't do that with a lot of new cell phones nowadays, but you pull the back and no communication. Or maybe you end up with a communication where it's you can only hear every third word. You're not sure what's there. And when you start having these cellular communication issues, intercellular, we start seeing an increase in age-related diseases because the inflammation increases, oxidation increases, the dysfunctional immune response. In other words, our immune system should be addressing all these, but it's not getting the right word at the right time to do what it needs to do. And there's many, many more, but these are the primary ones that I think are critical. And so I'm looking at this. What happens if left unaddressed? Well, I'm getting older, but it can also lead to cancers. It can also lead to neurodegenerative, the Alzheimer's, the Parkinson's, and other brain issues. It can lead to an increase in our depression, anxiety, a lot of brain cognitive issues, leads to cardiovascular disease, autoimmune issues. And the cellular senescence can be a factor in so many of these things. It affects tissue repair. If I'm not getting my tissues repaired, now all of a sudden I really have some serious problems. So what can I do? Again, the basic lifestyle factors, getting the right diets there. Part of the process of my pathway, getting the right proteins, the right nutrients, relies on proteins, and proteins fold and they do certain things. But my diet, if everything's good, I'm going to have good folding. I'm going to have the stuff I need to have because it's available and it's there. But if I have ultra processed foods, I'm obese, I have other issues, I don't exercise. A lot of these things now, I'm not getting the proper mechanisms happening in the proper order for them to go out and say, I'm here to rescue you. It just doesn't work. So we talked about exercise helping several things. Well, one of the things it also does is neuronal survival. In other words, I have neurons. That exercise is one of those things that says, let's make this neuron a little bit stronger. So I got neurons all along these pathways. There's passing information back and forth. So I have the communication. If I'm degrading my communications, I'm not getting the right nutrition to my neurons. I need something that's going to help. And exercise is one of those. I'm getting a lot more blood through there, a lot more oxygen, the things that I need. And as that blood flow goes through, I'm getting the nutrition that I need out there. Stress has an impact on my intercellular pathways. Again, 4-lane highway down to a 1-lane highway, no passing. Sleep, big issue, because sleep is where literally most of our body spends some time making the repairs that's needed and doing all those kinds of things. So sleep affects not only our neuronal metabolism, but also the neurons in the brain, the plasticity of being able to have that healthy brain. Again, all lifestyle factors. So I'm looking for an anti-inflammatory, antioxidant diet. We're finished now with a little bit ahead of time. I guess I went way too fast. Things happen. Okay, so lifestyle factors. I really and truly want an anti-inflammatory, antioxidant kind of diet. I want to avoid sugars as much as possible, avoid any kind of processed food if it comes in a box, can. We have preservatives, we have toxins, we have stuff that makes it look pretty, artificial colors, artificial flavors. Those are things that are, in the big scheme of things, going to make your cells age sooner, make your body age sooner. So I can get healthy fat, healthy protein, healthy fruits and vegetables, which maintains that pH balance in the body where it needs to be. Those are the things that are going to help my body down the road. So diet is something that we do every day. Unless you're on an extended fast, we're eating something, drinking something every day. Take a look at what you have. Are you aware? I mean, obviously the banana you eat may have toxins on the outside of the banana, but we don't eat the skin of it. So we don't eat the skin of lemons or limes or anything. But some things we do, celery, strawberries. There are some things that there are toxins on the outside because of preservatives or residue from crop dusting or whatever. So the foods are critical. We have to know what can we eat. Basically, fruits and vegetables, healthy fats, healthy proteins. Those are the ones that are most important. Anything with toxins, and again, the toxins don't have to be in the foods. They can be in your skincare products, your shampoo, any kind of ointment that you might use, lotions, underarm deodorant. All sorts of things have toxins in them. The ultra processed foods came about 1976, where we first started experiencing the major increase in obesity that hasn't slowed down. Preparation of foods, uh, advanced glycation end products. You look at a nice piece of barbecue and you get that little black singe there, that crust. It tastes great, but those foods cooked at very high temperatures create changes in the molecules. That black, it becomes a problem inside the body. And so now, even though I may be eating the right thing, I put too much char on the outside of my vegetables in order to make it look and taste better for me. That can be a problem. A lot of us don't do that, but it's something to be aware of. Caloric restriction and fasting are two big items. Fasting opens up the autophagy process, so our bodies can actually go in and clean out a lot of garbage that's in there, take the trash out, recycle everything. And caloric restriction is simply a matter of cutting back 20-30% in calories. If you listen to nutritionists, they'll say you need 15 calories per pound. So if I weigh 100 pounds, I need 1,500 calories. But they found out if they cut back 30%, in other words, instead of 1,500 calories, 1,000 calories, in animal studies, the animals that are put on a caloric restricted diet all of a sudden live longer. They don't have age-related problems. They don't even look like the other peers that are on a regular diet. The biggest problem is they haven't done enough testing on humans to see the exact same thing. But we're seeing it in just so many different kinds of animals going way down the chain. So it's one of those things that I think is super critical. If you don't need seconds or thirds, don't get it. Pretty simple. Let's talk about exercise, multifaceted approach. As we get older, we can't do the same endurance and cardio that we did as we were younger. But we have a certain level of strength we should maintain. We should have a certain level of flexibility. And again, these things can be worked on. YouTube is a great teacher. Put it on and follow somebody. Find somebody that you enjoy their advice, their videos, and do their balance exercises. Do their, a lot of Tai Chi out there, a lot of things out there. You do this in the morning for 2 minutes. Those things are just absolutely wonderful for joints, for ligaments. But as you process, you're doing it for 2 or 3 minutes, and then you change over, you do something else. Now you're starting to really affect the body, the heart rate, the oxygen transfer, all sorts of things. Cardio, we may not necessarily be doing a lot of cardio at 80, although some people do, not many, but we can certainly walk. And the more you walk, you find out maybe my balance and my flexibility and my strength start coming back. I use a heart rate monitor a lot when I used to run. So I knew that, okay, I keep my heart rate in between 150 and 160, and I could run for an hour, hour and a half, and feel pretty comfortable. And then I would measure my heart rate response after my run. Okay, goes from 150 down to 100, 120, 120, I guess, in a minute or less than a minute. And a lot of that is what's measuring what's called VO2 max. This is the oxygen transfer. And a lot of things that I'm reading nowadays say that muscles in your legs, muscles in your body overall, skeletal muscle, and your VO2 max are really more indicators of aging and longevity than anything else. And heart, lungs, and legs are really synonymous with longevity. If you got a nice strong heart, you got good lungs, and your legs, because that's literally a second heart for all practical purposes. You're pumping a lot of blood from your legs back into the rest of your body. So if you're going to concentrate, heart, lungs, legs, and that is a good indicator of longevity. Grip strength is another one also. Stress management, multifaceted also. So many things out there. Go to YouTube, type in stress management. I like EFT, emotional freedom techniques. That's one that I really prefer. Breathing exercises, pranayamas. There's so many of them out there. Meditation, hobbies. I haven't done what do you call it, jigsaw puzzle literally in years, but last week before, I got out a 1,000 part piece, a jigsaw puzzle. I have it on the kitchen dining room table, and I find that just to be something to kind of relax, let go a bit. And sometimes you just have to say out loud, let it go, just let it go. So Fasting from news. That's a let it go. The news is probably one of the most stressful things we have going on. If you can't watch TV without getting upset, maybe you shouldn't be watching TV. Maybe you go to internet and you just look at the headlines. Okay, I know what's going on, but I don't need to know the detail of what's going on. A lot of things there. Quality sleep, probably one of the exercise and quality sleep are probably two of the best stress management things you can do. Relationships, mother-in-laws, for instance. We hear so many bad things about mother-in-laws. I had a great one. But relationships, whether it's spousal, kids, co-workers, boss, we have so many relationships in our lives, and they create stress. And we reach hold of them and we never let them go. So it's a matter of being able to recognize it, being aware of it, what it causes problems in our bodies, and what can you do about it. Most of the time they say, just get away from it. Well, sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. But let it go. That's the biggest thing you can do. So sleep. Quality sleep is really critical. And we're talking about sleep that 7 to 9 hours is what they say. If you miss sleep, sometimes that becomes 8 or 10 hours. But if you're working, you don't always have that time. I used to work literally at 20 something hour a week. I was going at nights, going to college, 3 weekends a month for the reserves. And I had like a 27-day work week. I had just 1 weekend a month I could sleep in. And it's use your sleep wisely, because it's where your body really has a chance to enjoy the recovery mode that it needs. Blue lights, anything from your cell phone to TV, anything that has a monitor in it. A lot of the lighting that we have in houses nowadays. But any light source is going to disrupt your sleep. A lot of people like to watch the news and listen to it and they fall asleep. Well, everything that's going on TV is going right straight into your subconscious mind 24/7. It's not going to miss a beat. So there are issues there. You don't want to have the TV set on or anything going on in the background, because whatever's there is going to hear, and that can become a problem. If you're finding yourself having a problem going to sleep and the same thought keeps occurring, that's a clue. That's a stressor. Sometimes we take sleep aids because it helps us get to sleep. Well, there's some natural sleep aids. Melatonin is one. But if you look at melatonin, it activates our body for sleep when it gets dark outside. But that's about 5% of the body's melatonin that's created up here in our brain. But sunlight penetrates our bodies, goes down literally to the cellular level, to the mitochondrial, and provides that with the melatonin that it needs in order to do its job. A lot of good things about sunlight that we don't know about. Watches, sleep monitoring, a lot of ways to say, well, how good was the sleep you had? Eating late at night, drinking something with caffeine in it, or eating something with caffeine. A lot of things we can do, we sabotage ourselves. Having a couple, 3 glasses of wine, a couple beers at night. Hydration is a major problem. If you're dehydrated, the quality of your sleep is going to suffer. Lots of issues affect our sleep. And the last thing I wanted to cover up just real quickly, I'm thinking about doing a whole series on this one, is hallmarks of health. They talk about these particular topics here, and I'm not going to go over them because if I do a topic on it, it's going to be there. But it all talks about if these things are working right, you've got pretty good health. And I think it's worth going into detail. It's just a lot of interesting words, and they need some explanation. So that is what my thought process is now. There's hallmarks of cancer. It's a little bit more complex than this one, and I'm looking at that as a potential one. That's my thoughts for the next couple of weeks. But lifestyle factors, the choices we make every day with our foods, with our exercise, with our sleep, with our stress, all of those things add up. You keep them all on the good side, probably going to live a nice long age. If you abuse them, again, you may live a long age, but you're not going to enjoy the end of it. Take care, you all. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye now.
Meet red.olaughlin, TV show host, presenter, and author.
Howdy, y'all. red.olaughlin here. I'm a TV host on the USA Global TV and Radio Network.
Red has 3 weekly shows every Thursday.
I've been a TV host now with USA Global, probably maybe just a little over 3 years. Probably, I know for sure, 250, 300 shows.
Join Red on the Corner Bookstore.
The Corner Bookstore is one where we talk to authors, publicists, publishers, editors, cover designers, anybody associated with the writing and authoring book production business. You have somebody in that area, I can help you with regard to getting your book done, getting it published, working with you on a cover. A lot of things I can help people with, and I have probably maybe published over 40 books for people so far.
Join Red on The Wise Ones.
On the Wise Ones, I'm looking for entrepreneurs, business owners, people who have wisdom, lessons learned over time that they can share with others. So please go to usaglobaltv.com, sign up and join me there.
Book your session on usaglobaltv.com. Join Red on Talking Heads.
On Talking Heads, I take my experience. I fell in love with chemistry many years ago, got a degree in it, got an invitation to Vietnam, never practiced chemistry per se, but I did get a chance when my wife was going through chemo to get back into the chemical end of things. I started looking for cause and effect relationships. I had been working at a company doing cause and effect analysis on failures in the field on various products that we made. So I said, why not look at the cellular structure in the body? The chemicals are chemicals. They do certain things. So I take my knowledge of chemistry and research. I write about it. I speak about it. I have over 1,000 original content articles on LinkedIn, most of them dealing with some aspect of health or wellness. I speak on that topic quite often, and the Talking Head Show is one that I concentrate my knowledge of health and wellness on in order to help people.
Red is a distinguished Toastmaster.
As a distinguished Toastmaster, I help people get their speeches developed. The presentation is something that I critique all the time with Toastmasters. It's one of those skills that I have. I can easily help you on that one. So from a position of writing, publishing, book coach, speaking, and being a keynote speaker at an event or virtually, depending on how things work out. But those are the things that I can help people with, and I have 3 shows every week here on the USA Global TV and Network, and please join me when you can. Appreciate it. Bye now.
Here are some of the books that Red has written and published. Contact Red at red.olaughlin.com.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world. Conveniently located in the Cherry Hill Mall in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Avio Art specializes in custom art and photography printing. From museum-quality canvas prints and stretching to photo restoration, fine art reproduction, and framing with museum-grade glass, every service is completed in-house with exceptional attention to detail. Visit avioart.com or email support@avioart.com.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.